welcome to the Danny
and Rihanna show. This is Danny, Rihanna's husband.
And I'm Rihanna, Danny's wife. And this podcast is all about mom and dad finding nerd life balance.
Yes, and you can find us on any podcast platform. You can go on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast services. Also, you can find us on YouTube. Just search for the Danny and Rihanna show.
So during our show, we talk about what it's like running a business together, being a new married couple, having a child, and all the while trying to play video games and find a way to work.
It's going to be a lot of fun having these great conversations. And plus, we might have a couple guests here and there. We'll see. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, you'll hear about our travels, our excitement over new games and movies that are coming out, and everything in between as we navigate the world of being nerds that actually make a living.
So if you're excited to listen to our conversation, we're going to have brand new episodes every Wednesday.
Follow us on socials in the description box below and join us on our journey.
Ladies and gentlemen, podcasting since 2005. You're listening to Gamertag Radio with your hosts, podcaster Hall of Famer Danny Pena, the always opinionated Paris Lilly, and from outside of the norm, Peter Toledo. This is Gamertag Radio.
Welcome to Gamertag Radio, episode 1333. This is your host, Danny Pena, and also joining me on this episode, we have the one and only, the one that sends me all the nice messages every morning with saying, God bless, Paris Lilly.
That's right. I do. I sincerely do. I tell him to stay blessed. Jesus loves you every morning.
Every morning. And I'm like, yo, it sounds fake, but okay. It's all good. Shout out to Pete. He's still on tour. He's not going to be joining us for this episode, but he will join us in the future, man. By the way, next week, we don't have a live recording for those that are just arriving here, but we can have some great content next week that is pre-recorded. I can't wait for that one to come out. It's going to be a lot of fun. So head over to gamertagradio.com. Listen to our past episodes. We have a lot of content there, over 1,000 episodes, by the way. Also, you can find us on any podcast app. All you have to do is just search for Gamertag Radio. You can even search for Paris Lee, Danny Pena, Peter Toledo. Our content will pop up. Just make sure to follow us and subscribe and post a review. It will help us out a lot. Go ahead right now. Just take a couple seconds of your time. Also, if you're listening through Spotify, every week I always post poll questions for our listeners. And I'm going to read you what we have from last week's episode, which that one was all about Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves. For those who are into fighting games, I had a great conversation with Blessing from Kind of Funny. Great conversation. And yeah, make sure to check it out. This is an awesome episode. Really, really awesome. And I asked the question, for those who are listening or got to listen to that episode, are you interested in Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves? 56.3% said yes. 25% said no. 18.8% says maybe. Paris, your thoughts about people are interested, some are not. It looks like it's very, very even, the votes, the results on this one. City of the Wolves.
You're asking my thoughts? The fact that it's pretty split, I think, not surprised.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right, I'm just asking, just in case, you know. We'll see what your thoughts and everything like that. Yeah, I haven't played this is honest truth. I haven't played a Fatal Fury game since 1992. Since like in the early 90s. After that, I was just playing like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and all that stuff. Virtua Fighter. But I actually, Paris, I found a picture where it's me and my friends. We're playing the original arcades from back in November of 1992. NCK, so it was Samurai Showdown, Fatal Fury. We went to like a video rental place in Miami. And yeah, we were just playing there all the time, man. And that's during the time where Mortal Kombat was popular. Street Fighter 2 was super popular during that time too, man. So Was there anything during that time you were playing a lot, like the fighting games? Because it was popping everywhere, man. It was very, very big.
I mean, everything that you listed then, but like it's not a fighting game per se because it was more co-op. But Double Dragon back in the day, remember?
Double Dragon, yeah, bro, yeah. Oh man, that was classic. Yeah, that was late '80s on that one, right? Yeah. I remember also playing a lot of Street Fighter 2 back then. I remember when Street Fighter 2 came out. I think it got released for the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. Bro, you couldn't even find that game back then. It was so hard to find. It sold out everywhere. People were excited. They're like, arcade? I don't need to go to arcade anymore. I got that at home. Oh, it was the best.
So I have a memory. Was I in 11th grade then? I was in 10th or 11th grade. But the original Street Fighter, not Street Fighter 2, the original Street Fighter. So high school I was in, me and my buddies, at lunchtime, we would leave campus. And back then you weren't supposed to do that. So we were basically skipping school. We would leave campus and we would walk down to the convenience store up the street. And they had Street Fighter in there. And we would play Street Fighter through lunch, sometimes even past lunch. Right. And one time we were walking back and we used to cut through the alley in the back and someone called the cops on us and they said we were trespassing and we got arrested and I went to jail and my mom was pissed. She was arrested. Yes, we got arrested because they said we were trespassing because we used to cut behind the convenience store to come back to school, right? And go through the neighborhood. Somebody called the cops on us coming through that alleyway. And it was like a sting. Like the cops, like they rolled up in the back of the alleyway and we started running. And then another cop come busting out through one of the store, like the back door, and like had us surrounded and literally arrested us. And we went to jail. It was Gulfport. It's like I lived in St. Pete, but it was Gulfport, the Gulfport police. And we went to the Gulfport jail and they literally handcuffed us, put us in the back seat, and the handcuffs hurt. Cause I ain't never been arrested before. So handcuffs hurt and I sat on them and they tightened up and the cop refused to take them off. But yeah, they put us literally in the holding cell in the Gulfport jail. And I had to call my mom and my mom was so pissed. She refused to get me. And my grandmother had to come get me out of the jail.
Bro, I know Paris for so long, and this is the first time hearing about this.
But it was all because of Street Fighter. It was Street Fighter. That was why. We used to love to go play Street Fighter and fight, and we would do that. Yeah.
Yo, I have never heard about this story. That's crazy. By the way, for those who are listening, also, this is something that I would love for you guys to be involved because we just love doing this. Fan mail. Send us your questions. Super easy. And this is how you can contact us.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
All right, yeah. So the more questions we get from the fans, the more we could, talk about it on the show. We could do even a fan mail episode. We're gonna have a great conversation. Look, shout out to Keon and everybody who's been saying those questions, man. Yo, we need more, man. Send us more. All right. So, again, Paris, somebody asked on the chat, is there a mugshot?
No. I mean, it was such nonsense. I mean, again, let's keep it real. We're talking late 80s. You got a bunch of, teenage black kids walking around in this white neighborhood. That's what happened. That's all it was. Yeah. So It was like, I didn't even go to court or anything. I think they just threw it out. It was more of them trying to scare us than anything. So no, I didn't get a mugshot. No.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
By the way, I know there's been a chatter online, and this always chatters all the time. But this time, Paris, and this is something where, and I don't know about you, but I remember talking about this back during the original Xbox days in the early 2001, 2002, especially, where people wanted a handheld from Xbox a long time ago, and I think during that time, a lot of companies were some of them were like, yo, let's just release let's release a handheld. Some were like, I don't know if it's a good idea or not to release the handheld, because Nintendo has been dominating that market for so long. It was very hard for a company to be successful. I think PlayStation is the only one that I remember that would nonstop releasing handheld. And to me, my favorite one from PlayStation was Vita, and it was a great device, but there was not a lot of content in there, right? And that's one thing about Nintendo, that whatever the company releases, other companies are gonna influence them to either copy or do something similar. We've seen that with the Wii, and now with the Switch, where a bunch of now companies are releasing handheld and everything like that. And and I know recently too, PlayStation released that. Is it PlayStation Portal, right?
Yeah,
that's the portable.
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah, I know you got it. I don't. So I'm sorry, I don't.
Well, you got your Razor.
I'm not cool as you.
You have your Razor, so whatever.
But that's a different company.
I know it's better though.
yeah. Well, we'll see. But anyways, so now the conversation has been that Xbox is planning to release a handheld, and I know there's been the talk now for the couple of days. I know you've been tweeting about it too. We talked about it too behind the scenes, like where it makes sense for Xbox now to release one, where we've seen so many other companies releasing their Steam Deck. I think is the only one that I can think of has been the most successful one outside of Nintendo. Has been very, very successful, especially for the PC gamers that has a lot of games that have been purchased from Steam, and now they can play this on the go and everything like that. But Xbox releasing a handheld in the future, and I hope it's very soon. I think that's a great idea, great timing, and it makes sense for Microsoft to do this, man. But I just want to start our conversation, because I wish we recorded our conversation this week. The ones that we had on the phone, it was so good. So I think we should continue the conversation here, man. So your thoughts about this Xbox handheld? Is it the right time? Smart idea? What?
Yeah, that's why I've been tweeting about it past few days, because I do think it's time. And just for people that are watching the live chat, sorry, audio people, I am holding up my ROG Ally. And as you can see, there is an Xbox app. There's a Steam app, Ubisoft Connect. You can play games through here. I'm in the Armor Crate UI, and you can launch it from there. And it's great. And the ROG Ally is Windows 11 in a handheld. And that's fine. And that's great. I love it. It's a great handheld. I mean, the battery life could be better, but it's great. I also have Steam Deck as well, which I use all the time. Again, I can play my Steam games on there. I have the workaround built in, installing the Edge browser, that I can do cloud streaming for Game Pass games, PC Game Pass games as well. And the reason I bring all that up is, the reason I've been talking about it is I do want a dedicated Xbox handheld. And a lot of the feedback is like, oh, you can just use ROG Ally. Why do you care? Or the MSI Claw or the Lenovo Go that's out. That's fine. The reason I'm bringing it up is, strictly talking Xbox. Yes, you have access to games on the Xbox app. So PC Game Pass and any PC games that you've purchased through that PC app, you can play. But that is not all your Xbox games. That is not your complete Xbox digital library. The reason I want to see an Xbox dedicated handheld is Windows 11 right now. You have to jump through a few hoops to, there's system updates you have to install, configurations that you have to do. You have to worry about PC settings for these games, getting those configured, things like that. It can be a little cumbersome, number one. Number two is, like I said, you do not have access to all of your Xbox, your entire Xbox digital library. So I want to see a handheld that has a simplified UI on it, that I do have access to all of my Xbox games, both first party, third party, and indie. Obviously, Game Pass would factor into that as well. What I'm basically saying is, I want an Xbox. I want it to be an Xbox console. That's what I'm saying. I don't want something that also plays Steam, that also I can backload this, sideload that. No, I want a handheld Xbox console. That is what I want. Because if you do want to access your Steam library, you want to access Ubisoft Connect, the Epic Game Store, things like that, go get an ROG Ally. go get a Steam Deck, which you can tinker and do whatever the hell you want to it, right? That's not the point of me saying an Xbox handheld. I want that console experience on the go. Native gaming, not cloud streaming, on the go. And the Fox, who is a YouTube content creator, he talks a lot about handheld stuff. Him and I follow each other on Twitter, and we've been talking about this for a while actually, and he has multiple videos out talking about this. The template for Xbox already exists. It's the Series S, and he's been talking about this, believe it or not, since 2020 about the Series S being the template for them to have an Xbox handheld. And he even has a video that he put out about 11 months ago where he kind of broke it down as to holiday 2024, the AMD SoC that should be able to support that should be out, right? So 11 months ago, he said this, and we've obviously seen a lot of different rumors. Jez Corden's been talking about this. Other people have been talking about an Xbox handheld. We know what Sarah Bond said during the business update, that they will have a hardware announcement this holiday. A lot of people thought initially, hey, it's probably the all digital Series X, and it probably still is. But could that be a handheld? We also know they're going to work on next gen stuff, a few years down the road too. Here's how I want to look at it to simplify this, and I'm curious of your thoughts, Danny. I would love, like I said, a dedicated Xbox handheld that you can also dock onto your television. My thought is it's probably an OLED screen, 800p, because you don't need 1080p, all that. It's perfectly fine. Steam Deck has proved that from a visual standpoint. So maybe it's an OLED screen, 800p for power consumption. It's going to run low at a lower power set in handheld mode. There's a dock mode that basically would emulate a Series S, is what I'm thinking, right? Because now you can have more power to it. You don't have to worry about battery life. Have maybe 3 to 3.5 hours of battery life, depending on the game that you're playing on the handheld at the time. But this is access to your entire Xbox digital library. Any third-party game, any first-party game that you have would be available that you have purchased, or if you're subscribed to Game Pass, you'll be able to download onto that system and be able to play it. Ideally, that would be the perfect thing for them, because when you think about what Nintendo, obviously with the Switch, has proved this, but Valve with the Steam Deck has proved this too. There is a market that wants AAA console experience on the go. We know that now. I mean, the sales numbers tells you that. So I would be shocked if Xbox did not jump into this. We already know Phil Spencer's a big fan of handhelds. He talks about his ROG Ally all the time. He's liked certain tweets over the past few weeks and months talking about handhelds. So Jez obviously came out on Xbox 2, which was in response to my tweet, by the way. But he came out on Xbox 2 and even said that he's heard they're prototyping handhelds, which not a surprise. I think even if they didn't come to market with a handheld, you're probably prototyping it. So I think where there's smoke, there's fire in that. And it will not surprise me at all if we see an Xbox handheld at this point.
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to call it X-Boy. remember that was a big name back then.
Yeah, they'll call it the Series P.
The Series P for Paris.
For Portal.
I don't mess with Yo, but honestly, that was a true rumor where everybody thought that that was like the talk back then, was there people were saying, oh, it's going to be called X-Boy, and behind the scenes they wanted to do it, but the higher ups were like, nah, it's not a good idea. They never released it. But anyways, Paris, I think that makes a lot of sense to release a handheld that could be a Series S version. I think that makes a lot of sense. And actually, if you think about it, even with the X screen, I don't know if you ever tried the X screen or not, but that to me was like the closest portable version of the Xbox console that I used to take this all the time, especially like during trips. I'll play it at the airport and different places, man. So yeah, man, it makes a lot of sense for Xbox to release a handheld, a Series S version. And here's the thing that a lot of people are not talking about too, man, is the amount of content that where every game that you purchase, all the games that you could play from since like 2001, plus adding Game Pass in there, this will be a genius move for Xbox to do this, man. And honestly, I know people are going to be talking about like power and graphics and all this stuff compared to like the regular consoles, but hey, like you said, it worked out for Nintendo, and this is like the most successful console that Nintendo has ever released, and it's been great. And nobody from the Nintendo crowd, nobody talks about like how much power that device, because everybody just play it on the go, man. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, go ahead.
To chime in on that, it's not about a power thing. They can do the Series S. So whatever the Series S is right now, you would put into a handheld. The thing is about battery consumption and obviously the cooling that would need to happen on it. And this is what the Fox was talking about. And he even elaborated more on this because, again, he's smarter than me. So I'm just deferring to the stuff that he was saying. He was talking about the AMD SoC that's coming out now. You reduce the die, it would be a smaller size than the current Series S is. But you can bring that same architecture into a handheld. I mean, obviously SSD would be on it. I would assume they'd probably put like a terabyte one in there. You do an OLED screen because that also reduces battery consumption because that's what you see on the Steam Deck OLED right now. So it's very possible you're just making a Series S, but it's a handheld. So, and you have a Series S, I do. Games are fine on there. You're not worrying about trying to play at 4K or anything. You make it 800p. That way, you're reducing resolution. Again, that's going to improve battery life as well on there, and you can run it at a lower power consumption. This is the whole point of that. So if what AMD has been working on is ready and Xbox has been prototyping, and like I said, if you can get 3 hours of battery life out of it, and to your point, you're playing all of your Xbox games, all of them, not just PC Game Pass, because that's the one thing I keep trying to tell people online and they're not listening. Not all of your games are available via PC Game Pass. It has to be something that obviously would be compatible on PC. But if you're replicating the console experience, all Xbox games are available at that point. And that would be the selling point of this thing. You're not, again, if you want your Steam games, if you want to invest in that library, again, go get an ROG Ally or Ubisoft Connect, whatever, you can go do that. But if you're an Xbox gamer who's invested in the Xbox ecosystem, hundreds, thousands of dollars, all those games are now available to you on this handheld that if it was dockable, you can also put it on your television. But again, with Xbox Play Anywhere, whatever you're playing on the go, once you connect to the internet again, all that save data is going to go to the cloud. Now you go to your console, you go to your PC, you get to pick up right where you left off too. So I'm telling you, I think this would be a huge selling point for them. And
yeah,
we should probably talk about the PS5 Pro stuff a little bit too, because I know someone had a question on that. We'll get into it in a second. But yeah, I don't think anyone's going to have to sacrifice graphical fidelity or anything like that because it would essentially just be a Series S.
Yeah. So, and here's something that I brought up during the conversation too, Paris. So let's make believe. Let's make believe that this console, this handheld comes out either this holiday or like sometime next year. Let's say, where it's like during the same time where Nintendo's also going to be releasing a new console, which most likely, based on the rumors, is going to be similar to the Switch. Now, based on what I've read, that this console is going to be similar to, graphic-wise, it's going to be similar to Xbox One, PlayStation 4, that type of power. Series S technically is a little bit more powerful than those consoles. Now, those two comes out. I wonder what price should be for that handheld in order to compete with not only with Nintendo, but also with other handheld devices that is going to be out there too during that time. Do you think $399 makes a lot of sense, or should be $499 or lower? $499? You think it is?
I think it's $499 for a couple reasons, because you're probably putting a terabyte SSD in there because, again, you got to replicate the velocity architecture, quick resume. All of that experience needs to translate into the handheld. So you can't skimp on that. So there's probably going to be a terabyte SSD in there, PCIe 4.0 or whatever the hell it is. And like I said, probably an OLED screen, I would imagine, again, because that helps with power consumption, better battery life, stuff like that. When you look at the Steam Deck, I don't have the prices right up in front of me, but if they were to slot it in at $499, that's not crazy, especially if it's dockable. So you're essentially saying, I'm giving you a portable Series S. So whether you want to play this at home, on your television, taking on the go, $500, terabyte SSD, access to OLED screen, probably a 7.5 to 8 inch screen, potentially. You could do OLED because I think the Steam Deck is 7.5. I want to say it is. So just give me that screen size. I'm not complaining. And with OLED, colors are going to pop on it. Even at 800p, is going to look great. So yeah, $499 I think would be reasonable. I mean, obviously the cheaper the better, but I don't think people who are buying the ROG Ally or the Steam Deck right now, you're spending around that, if not more. Like I said, I think the bottom tier Steam Deck is it 400? Is it 399? I'll look it up while we're talking, but the mid tier one, which I think is 512, the SSD that's in there, I want to say it's like 5 something. I'll look it up now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Look it up. Yeah. Honestly, as a new parent, I think this is the perfect device for me and for a lot of parents out there because, especially when you have kids, start watching TV and want to watch their own thing. And it's easier for me to play handheld devices right now, handheld games. Like actually the past couple months, that's how I finished games like Super Mario Brothers Wonder. I've been playing now recently Call of Duty Warzone Mobile, which it's a fantastic game, by the way, for those that are into Warzone or into mobile games. Go out there and download this. This is free. You can try it out. But that's like the closest thing that I've seen that looks almost exactly like the actual game from the consoles and PC, man. But it's easy for me to do that, man. Like to play games, man. Like this would be perfect if this ever comes out. Like, I even been playing a lot of like Cyberpunk and a couple other games that came out for Steam. I've been using my Steam Deck nonstop too because of that. So more than my actual PC, gaming on PC, and also Xbox console. So yeah, it makes a lot of sense, man. I think this will be a genius move if Xbox makes this move, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So I pulled up the prices. This is about what I thought it was. Now, if you get the OG 256 gigabyte LCD Steam Deck, the original one, it's $400. The 512 OLED, which is 800p, 7.4 inch display, so 7.5 inch display, is $549. And if you get the 1 terabyte one, it's $650 for the OLED. So if Xbox, again, if they're trying to compete and get it to come, $499 would seem about right. I mean, the Steam Deck is showing you could probably charge more for that if you wanted to. But if they were to do OLED, 1 terabyte, bring it in at about $499 to $550, that is a direct competitor with the Steam Deck at that point. So that makes sense to me. I think that would be the right choice. Because here's the truth of the matter. If you told me what is the handheld you would want to rule them all, give me the Steam Deck OLED. It is my favorite handheld. It is, for me, it is the right size. Again, the OLED screen is great. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the SSD, all that, because I have the 1 terabyte one that I use. If I could play native download like Game Pass on there, that would be perfect. But we know Valve's never going to do that. They're never going to allow them to put Game Pass on that Steam Deck. Now, agreed. Xbox games that are on Steam, obviously you can go buy them, you download them, you can play them, it works just fine. But my whole point is Xbox is going to want a hand on the wheel. They're not going to want to rely on Valve, Asus, MSI to make their hardware. They're going to want to make their own hardware. And if they make their own hardware, it's going to be a closed garden. They're not going to open it up to Steam and Epic Game Store and stuff like that. They're going to make it an Xbox console, which means it is going to be, like I said, a simplified UI. You hit the power button, Xbox UI comes up. There's the game you want to play. You hit the button and you play it. You're not going to have to go jump through hoops, everything that you have to do with Windows and all that. They're just simply not going to do that. So bring it in at $500, $550 maybe tops. Like I said, put a terabyte drive in it. Day one. Yeah, I would pick that up. Absolutely. And yeah, of course I have other handhelds and stuff like that, but this is made for people that are invested into Xbox. I'm telling you, PlayStation's going to do the same thing. Yes, they did the PSP back in the day. They did the Vita back in the day. I always troll Greg because he loves Greg Miller. He loves the Vita. I always troll him with a picture of Ken Levine holding up the Vita, talking about that BioShock game's coming. I go, when is it coming, Greg?
Yeah, when that's coming out. Yeah.
But the point on that is, next time PlayStation does it, it's not going to be we're making games that are not the actual PlayStation games. They're going to make if I'm playing BioShock on that PlayStation handheld, whatever it's going to be, it's the same BioShock I'm going to play on the console. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the difference now than where we were before. Whereas, and I've talked about this too, mobile hardware is getting to the point where you can replicate the console experience on it. We obviously have real world examples of this with the ROG Ally and the Steam Deck. So why would Xbox and PlayStation let Valve get all the glory on that? They're not going to do that. Nintendo's obviously already doing it.
Killing it.
Of course, Xbox and PlayStation is going to do it. It seems like Xbox is closer to doing it now than PlayStation is, but you can't tell me PlayStation's not going to do it too. 100% they're going to do it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, no. Now, here's something that I'm curious about. So my brother purchased a Steam Deck few months back. He was very excited, like, yo, I'm gonna play games on the go. He didn't really like the design. He felt like it was just too big, too heavy. It felt like it was getting hot very quickly, depending on the game that you play, so he didn't like it. He returned it, actually, and there's people that prefer something like the Switch, like that type of size and stuff like that, right? I wonder the design should be for this Xbox handheld if this ever, happens in the future. I think it will be good to have it in between the Switch and the Steam Deck. And also, do you think it makes sense to do something similar to the Switch where you could turn those controllers into like Joy-Cons, kind of like, to remove it, or keep it like the Steam Deck, just like that, dock it, take it with you, etc. And you could also connect your Xbox controller in there if you want to do multiplayer on the go, that type of thing. What you think?
No, I think it should. I don't think you should have the removable controllers because, again, you're trying to replicate the Xbox controller experience. So you take them off. That's more like a Switch. Again, the Switch does their own thing. I just think that's different. It would have not even Bluetooth. It would be whatever Xbox's proprietary wireless connection is for their controllers, because on the console you're not using Bluetooth to connect the controller there. So whatever that is, you can connect an Xbox controller on there, and then obviously if you want to prop it up or whatever, you'll be able to play it that way too. So I mean, no, I wouldn't do the detachable controller thing. And to your point, or your brother, I love your brother. I like the Steam Deck design, but I also have dinosaur hands, so I get it. I like the bigger one, but I also like the Switch too. But part of this is, I would imagine, going back to battery life, you probably got to have a bigger battery in here to support it. So I don't know if you could get away with the Switch design for an Xbox handheld. It would probably be something more similar to a Steam Deck, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but this is where I go back to again. Obviously, that's not stopping people from getting it, because hell, Valve can't make enough of them. They can't make enough of them. So yeah.
Now, my question to you about the Steam Deck. So I know you have the OLED and the old version. Is it a similar weight, similar size, or is it a little difference of like weight between the two?
I think the OLED's a little lighter. I gave my old one to my kid, so I never see it anymore. Okay. But I want to say the OLED one's a little lighter. I want to say it seems like it. I wasn't complaining about the first one, so it's fine with me.
So look, for those who are watching the live stream, and sorry for our listeners, this is the Razer Edge. This, of course, is mobile. It's not like a Steam Deck or Nintendo Switch where the controller, you could take it out, put it back in, similar to like Backbone. And look, put it back here, boom, connect it, and I could just play games on the go on this one. So you could play the cloud games, you could download games from the Play Store, etc. Right? So this is great, but I think if Xbox creates a console, design a console that's similar, a handheld device, I think this would be way too thin. I have the Nintendo Switch OLED. I think that's perfect for Nintendo. I don't know if that size would be great for the Xbox console. But again, I think it should be lighter than the Steam Deck, and heavier than the Switch. I think between the two, I think it will be the perfect design for Xbox, and have the same exact features that we have on the consoles, where game resume, you switch games quickly, all that stuff, and that's something that Nintendo doesn't have, is the online service compared to like Xbox Live. That's like the perfect one. See all your friends, do the screenshot, video recording, everything from the device, send it to like the cloud, all that stuff. This will be perfect. And let's say you want to try to play a game on the go, maybe stream it on the cloud instead of waiting for the game to download. That feature will be great too for that device. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you don't see on Steam Deck and also for the Nintendo Switch. So yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. Now, should this be called Xbox Series S? I know you mentioned P.
Yeah, P.
I think it should be something, but I think it should be P. Sounds good, but I don't know. We'll see. For those that are watching, let us know your thoughts. Let's say Xbox announces, are you going to buy one? Are you excited for it? The dock will be great too, Paris, because here's the thing. I love the Nintendo Switch dock. I am not a big fan of the Steam Deck dock. I'm not a fan of that at all. Do you like that one?
The Steam Deck dock? Yeah, I have it. I never use it. I never dock my Steam Deck. Yeah. I just use hand. And same goes for the Switch. Like, I'm looking at my Switch dock I have in the corner over here. I never use it. I was just playing handheld.
Really? I use it a lot because I actually play that on my TV too, so it's going to be good. It's going to be really, really good. Oh, I'm excited. Hopefully Xbox will announce something soon, maybe during the showcase. I mean, who knows?
I would put it at probably a 20% chance you see that thing drop this holiday. I doubt it, but I do think we're eventually going to get one. I do.
I mean, Paris, if you think about it, this would be the perfect time, man.
Of course.
Perfect time.
But this would have had to have been the plan for a while, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, now we've obviously seen rumblings of there's a new dev kit that got listed in Korea. If you follow Xbox's job listings, they're hiring hardware engineers over in China. They're ramping up for something. I mean, it may just be that all digital Series X. Well, I mean, we don't know. I mean, we'll obviously see. I would imagine. Here's what I think. I do think they're going to announce the all digital Series X. It will be out this holiday. That's going to happen. We've obviously seen, because of the FTC stuff, the controller that they're working on that will have haptics and all that. I think that controller's bundled with the all digital Series X, and then you can obviously buy it yourself if you want it. I think that happens this holiday. I could see them, because they've done this in the past, tease the handheld this year and say you'll get it in 2025. I could see that, but I don't think we get the handheld this year. That seems pretty quick. I also think they do not want to go head to head with the Switch 2. And the Switch 2, it looks like it's coming early 2025. So even if they were to do a handheld, you either got to get it out this holiday or wait till the Switch 2 comes out and put it out after that. I cannot see them trying to go head to head with that. So I either think, we either get it at the end of this year or we'll probably get it fall 2025. That'll be my guess.
Fall 2025. That makes a lot of sense. It's funny. I'm reading the chat. And here, shout out to Arctic. He says, like, we were talking about like the names. Series W, running around or walkabout. Another one from John Wick says Series M for mobile.
Now
I like the M one. Sounds good. That
brings up another part of this, which I know we don't need to deep dive into this too much. Mobile is a strategy for them. We know this. Obviously you're just talking about playing Warzone mobile.
Yeah.
I imagine if they come out with a dedicated handheld, you'll be able to play mobile games on it too. Because I think Game Pass is going to expand into mobile. I just makes sense. They're trying to get more people invested into the ecosystem. You expand Game Pass into mobile. Obviously, games like Warzone Mobile and Candy Crush and all that is going to be a part of their strategy. They come out with a handheld. Not only can you play the Xbox console games, but for the more casual audience, your mobile games will work on it too. I can see it.
I think that will be a genius move.
Yeah.
I never even thought about that. Yeah. That would be. Because I know there's been rumors where their Xbox is not Xbox, but Microsoft is working on a app store.
Yes.
Like a separate app store, add it in there into the device and have all the games there included. Because here's the thing, Apple and Google, they have something similar to like Game Pass. have that for the handheld device and play those mobile games on that device. Part of the mobile Game Pass type thing, Oh my God, that will be genius.
Yeah, I think that's all that's very possible. So it'll be, look, June's going to be fun. Because they're announcing something. I mean, the all digital Series X is a layup at this point. That just makes sense. But there is a possibility that they at least acknowledge that a handheld's coming, whether it comes this year or not. I think they could acknowledge it. Now, I do want to transition into something else before we go.
Let's do it.
And this goes into the question that we got in the chat before we actually started. So somebody was asking, since Xbox is technically a third-party developer for PlayStation now, would they have PS5 Pro dev kits? Probably. I would imagine they would. Why wouldn't they? They should. I mean, anything that you got to think at a minimum, Call of Duty. If that PS5 Pro is coming this holiday, we know Call of Duty is coming this holiday, right? You would want the next Call of Duty to be optimized for the PS5 Pro. So at a minimum, that game alone tells me they got a handheld, or not a handheld. They got a PS5 Pro dev kit. They should. Obviously, whatever legalese goes with all that, confidentiality would be a part of it. But that brings us into the conversation about the PS5 Pro. So there's been varying opinions. Is it needed? Is it not needed? All I'll say is this. Everybody listening to this, watching this, people on Twitter, we are the enthusiasts. We'll get it. I'm not denying that at all. We'll get it. I am on record that I'm not as big of a fan of these mid-gen refreshes as I was last time. Because when I look back to last time, I've always said they were a half measure because the console should have been 1080p 60 out the jump. And they did the mid-gen refresh. But I got a PS4 Pro. I got an Xbox One X. When I look back and I think about both of those, didn't really need them. That's how I see it personally. So, yeah, I get PlayStation doing a PS5 Pro. I get people are going to get it. Yeah, they're going to improve frame rate on some of these games. Ray tracing is going to be added. They're going to look great. I'm not denying that at all. All I know is this: Spider-Man 2 and Ratchet & Clank and Returnal and Horizon Forbidden West look great now. And play great now. So do I need it? No, but I'm also the dude that bought the Apple Vision Pro. So who am I to complain about this stuff, right? But the reason I bring that up is people are asking, is Xbox going to do one? I don't think they are. I don't see it. There is obviously rumblings of them jumping in the next gen early, which I think factors into that because let's just say again, pretend they do go next gen holiday 2026. Why would you come out with a Pro now, 2 years, and then now you're telling people to buy hardware again? I don't see it. I see them doing that all digital Series X and a handheld in the interim, and then gear up for next gen by 2026. Obviously, a lot of people were talking about Grand Theft Auto 6. So there's a couple things with Grand Theft Auto 6 being the reason that people would get the Pro. First and foremost, Digital Foundry has come out and told you highly unlikely it would be at 60 frames per second anyways, because the CPU is only getting a 10% increase over the current PS5 CPU. So they don't think it's going to happen anyways. Then we're also hearing GTA 6 might get delayed to 2026. Which is a real possibility. I had always thought holiday 2025 anyway. So when I think about a PS5 Pro coming out now, what is the game that I'm pairing with a PS5 Pro now? I don't know. Unless I'm playing stuff I've already played. I don't know what the big PlayStation holiday game is going to be that is a showcase for the PS5 Pro. And that's not a hating thing. That's not anything. That's just logically looking at it. I don't know what game that I would be looking forward to play on the PS5 Pro in 2024. Now, again, if Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out 2025, and let's just say it is 60 frames, I can understand an argument for that because we already know PlayStation's not going to have first party games until at the earliest April of 2025. So we'll see. I'm pretty sure it's coming out. Like I said, the hardcore will run out and go get it day one. I'm not debating that at all. I just don't see people that already have a PlayStation 5 that aren't hardcore into it going, well, let me trade this in and go get the Pro. I don't see it. And let's talk about price. People want to look. There might be videos out there of me and people trying to make a big ruckus over me saying it should be $499. I said then, and I'll say now, you go back and look at the PS4 Pro, it was $399 when it came out, which was the same price as the PS4 when it launched. So why in North America, I get it's more expensive other places, why in North America should it be more? Make it $499 because it is essentially replacing the PS5 in as the top tier. So you launch the PS5 at $499, launch the PS5 Pro at $499. I think you'll get more people to buy in at $499 than you would at $599. I mean, come on. And that's all I'm saying. It always amazes me that people get upset when I say, hey, save money. Why? Why do you want to willingly give away your money?
I mean, here's the thing. A lot of especially when you get older, you want to save a lot of money. So there's going to be parents when they go to the store. That's the first thing they look at. They don't look at let's see which is the most powerful console. They look at price.
Yeah,
they look at price.
I say it every time. My wife. I'm not around, and she's buying stuff for these kids. She's getting the cheapest one. Yeah, that's what she's going to do. She's not going to go, whoa, let me buy the $600 one. No, she's going to go, wait, you telling me I can, and when I say $499, I'm talking all digital. So you're telling me, because you can do this right now, you can go to Amazon and get an all digital PlayStation 5, the new one, the slim one, with Spider-Man 2 for $399 right now. So why shouldn't that not be the case by this holiday? All digital is $399. The Pro version is $499. It just makes sense to me. Why are you wanting to give more money if you don't have to? That's all I'm saying. And that's it. Look, it may be more. It probably is more. It's probably $550 or something, right? But me looking at it, trying to be logical about it, that just seems like a great selling point for the holiday to be able to say, get PS5 Pro for $499. Because people are used to that price point now, spending that on the consoles. So why not? That's all I'm saying.
Now, my question, and this is, similar to this and also our first talk about the handheld, Xbox handheld. When the Switch announces their new handheld, the new Switch 2 or Super Switch, whatever you want to call it.
Super Nintendo Switch. I told you this for months.
Super Nintendo Switch. This is probably going to be cheap. It's not going to be no $499. I think this is going to be $399.
Yeah,
because that's Nintendo. So. Nintendo's always going to be like that. So Switch 2 $399. Xbox handled, you said $499. It is possible that we might see this also $399 Paris, because history, if you go back, Xbox always sold console on the loss. So
I think that's too big of a loss, though. I think it's too big of a loss. I think $499 is a loss.
$499?
Yeah.
It makes sense, or $350. I mean, that could be no.
Trust me. I would love it to be cheaper. I'm just thinking realistically. If it is a terabyte SSD in it, if it is an OLED screen in it, again, I'm using the Steam Deck as the template for that. $499 is actually cheaper than the Steam Deck.
Yeah. So. Yeah, no, it is. I'm saying if Xbox really wants to compete against Nintendo. When it comes to that, I mean, that's like the best move they can do. But make that money with the software and Game Pass.
But you have to remember, Danny.
Mobile. What?
But you also have to remember, Danny, the Switch 2 is probably on par with a PS4 power-wise. It is cheaper to make. Because remember, Nintendo makes money. Every Switch they make, they're making money on it. They ain't taking no loss on nothing. So, I don't know. And that goes back to my point again. I don't think you want to directly compete against Nintendo in the handheld market. So you stay away from them. Don't launch at the same time they do, because people are going to defer to Nintendo, because I do think it'll be cheaper and they have a proven track record.
All right. Here's another question. It's announced. Xbox handheld is coming out, whatever. Do you want this to be a white handheld or a black handheld, or have a totally different color that we're not expecting?
No, I wanted black. I like, and sorry again, audio listeners, is like, which one was better, the Steam Deck black or the ROG Ally white? I would rather have the Steam Deck the black.
Yeah, I mean, but the white also stands out a lot too, man. Like the OLED, Nintendo Switch OLED is beautiful, bro. Like that white. I mean, I know there's the red and blue color, whatever, but the white one, I love that one, man.
Danny.
It stands out a lot.
Danny.
And the Series S is white. You know what I'm saying?
Danny.
What?
As one of the great actors of our time, Wesley Snipes once said in Passenger 57,
yeah,
always bet on black.
Once you go black, you never go back.
That's right. Always bet on black.
There you go. Well, I mean, this has been a great conversation. Look, we only talked about two things, and that's it. Look, in almost an hour of just talking about this, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, that's how we do it.
Honestly, as we wrap this up, I would genuinely be excited for Xbox to make a dedicated handheld. Like I said, that replicates the console experience. Excuse me. And I have access to all the games. And it's just like the Switch. I press the button. The UI is there. Oh, I want to play that game. I own it. Boop, play it. Done. I would love that. I would absolutely love that. I think that thing, out of all the consoles that they've come out with over the past few years, would probably be their most popular one, especially if you can dock it to a TV.
Yo, I mean, look, I really doubt this is going to happen. And shout out to Reed for mentioning. Imagine you could design your own color handheld. I mean, that would be sick. Using it as like design lab, that would be sick, bro. Ooh.
Yeah.
Look, I can see, you know how Xbox to do a lot of like promotion. You get to see like Dune console and Ninja Turtles console, all that stuff. Imagine they could do something like that all the time with just a handheld, a special custom made promotion. Oh, that would be sick too, man. So yeah, it's gonna be a very interesting couple months, man. This year, next year is gonna be very interesting when it comes to games, man. It's gonna be a lot of cool stuff.
One other thing, but because I meant to mention this too with the handheld, if the Series S is the template, you're not telling developers to do anything extra. The same game that you would design for the Series S works on the handheld. So there's no extra work by the developers to support the handheld either. So if they can do that on their end, for the creators, I mean, again, it's a no-brainer. Like I said, it is a console. It's just a console that you are taking with you wherever you go. It is no different than the Nintendo Switch in that aspect.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. Look, there's a lot of posts here. I probably missed Captain Encino melt post about Design Lab. It's all good. But all right, so we're gonna wrap it up here, Pat. Anything else before we go to the after show? For those who are watching on Twitch, by the way.
Well, we could say we're gonna review something in the after show, so that's a tease for people that don't watch live. You're like, damn, what are they gonna review? But we are gonna review something next week. We'll say it in the after show.
I'm wondering what the hell you're talking about.
Okay,
it's a lot.
Yeah, we'll say it in the after show.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to episode 1333. Remember, next week there's no live show, but I have some pretty cool stuff that's coming out on that episode that I recorded at a very special location here in Los Angeles. So
I know what it is.
Good for you. Congratulations. Actually, Paris and I, we're going to meet up this week too. So it's like a lot of
after show
cool stuff happening.
Just
relax. And also, I'm traveling somewhere. It's not 100% yet. I probably will find out tomorrow. But if this one goes through, guys, prepare yourselves. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast. As something really cool potentially might happen. It's gonna be a big one. That's all I can say. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up. See you at the after show. Until next time. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.